Okay. Oh, there we go. Basement Show with Nate Miller. You are on the air.
Nate, Eric Lenaburg.
How are you? How are you, man?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. You called into the right show this time.
Yeah, you heard about that.
Yeah, I did. So, I apologize if our times got mixed up. So.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, good. So, I was really excited to find you on Facebook. You seem like you are very knowledgeable about Major League Baseball, given what you do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, for several years I was on a show called The Fast Pitch with my co-host MC Brown, and we used to have a little trivia contest, and people would call in with questions, and I would get these real obscure questions, and for whatever reason, I don't know much about anything else, but my head is filled with all these baseball facts. So one day someone called in and asked a question about the 1968 American League batting race.
Okay.
And everyone knows Carl Yastrzemski won that year with a 301 average. But who came in second? And I said, well, Danny Cater at 298. And the caller said, wow, how did you know that? You must be like a doctor of baseball. And then they started calling me that, and that was a joke at first, but it stuck. So can't get rid of it now.
Hey, whatever works.
That's true.
All right. So is it on your podcast, are you mostly going to concentrate on baseball trivia or like current news from around Major League Baseball, or a little bit of both?
Actually, the one Fox Clubhouse, Lenny Randall is joining me as the co-host. We'll be premiering our new show next week, and we're going to be doing, it's an hour-long show. We'll be doing 30-minute interviews, and then we will be at different sites, whether it's baseball camps or Major League games, and just, commentating on the action going on there.
Okay.
Kind of a different observation. Lenny played, of course, in the Major League many years, and that's a different take than I do because I didn't make majors. But the interview format we're kind of excited about because it's not going to be the kind of show we ask people about their greatest game and how much fun they had on the field. We're kind of talking about life after the game and what happens, the ups and downs.
Sure.
As I'm sure you got guests on, Nate, that have been through the trials and tribulations after all the cheering stuff, and that's what we're focusing on. So we're really excited about it.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Now, do you have a favorite team, or are you just kind of a baseball follower in general?
I try to be unbiased, but I grew up as a Los Angeles Dodgers fan.
Okay.
And, I was able to see Sandy Koufax in person and Don Drysdale. And once it kind of gets in your blood, as you know, it never really leaves. So, yeah, really I'm unbiased, but I pull for the Dodgers.
Okay. So it's probably a little bit different without Vin Scully in the booth this year.
Very different. It's not the same. And I'm glad you mentioned Vin Scully. When I was a young boy, we used to have transistor radios back then. No big boom boxes, no cell phones. But I used to go to sleep every night during the season hearing Vin Scully call the Dodger games. And I grew up in Phoenix, and the Dodgers were the only team that we got reception from over there. And to many years later, working the same field and to actually meet Vin Scully and talk with him was like a dream come true.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people have certain people they want to meet in life, and they have heroes. Vin Scully was mine. And, gosh, it's just not the same without him, like you said.
Yeah. So he's still been around the ballpark a fair amount this year, I know. So I think, for the most part, I think he's, happy with the decision, but I think he misses it.
I'm sure he does. And funny thing, back in, I think it was 2009 when the Dodgers moved their spring training camp to Arizona. I was working spring training that year for the Seattle Mariners and got to meet Vin. That's when I met him. And we were talking. And I asked him, what do you do in your spare time? What kind of things do you do to occupy yourself? And he said, you know what, the time away from the stadium, the 18, 19 hours when I'm not at the ballpark is excruciating. I have nothing to do. He really, his life was at the stadium. So I wonder about now what he's doing.
Yeah.
Keep this.
It's probably been hard for him just kind of coming up with, I mean, I'm sure to this day he's probably still coming up with stuff to do. So
I would hope so. Probably. He's an energetic guy.
Yeah.
Especially at, 88 years old. Wow, I hope I have that kind of energy when I'm 60, let alone 88.
Well, I'm sure his wife Sandy has found some things for him to do around the house.
That's a good point. Yes, we all have that waiting at home. I have the same thing at home.
Yep, and that's something that not just announcers have to kind of like. That's not something you have to think about just for announcers, but for players as well. I mean, these guys are away from their families, for 6 months out of the year. Even when they're, in their home ballpark, usually their families are on the other side of the country sometimes.
Right.
You got to think about that. I mean, these families, these wives and these kids, they make a lot of sacrifices. They have a lot of dinners at home and, by themselves and, a lot of just time without, dad or husband or whatever. And it's just not something that occurs to the average fan.
That's true. It's very significant what you're saying because a lot of people are not cut out for that.
No.
There are a lot of spouses that just can't deal with it. I'm very fortunate in my relationship. In fact, sometimes she's kind of glad when I leave. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So my hat is off to all those people who can deal with it and keep the family together and just keep going with the flow because it's all for a good reason. It's all for positive reasons.
Right. So, let's talk about this season a little bit. Do you have any early season predictions for the playoffs or the World Series?
Boy, yeah, we did a prediction show on the Fast Pitch, and everything I said was turned upside down. So, with hindsight now, I can say I'm looking at the National League West has really surprised everybody. As you know, who would have thought the Colorado Rockies, without making any major changes to their team, would be in first place?
Yeah.
I live in Phoenix, Arizona Diamondbacks. I see them quite a bit, and I'm another team that didn't make a lot of changes, and here they are.
Yep. 10 games over 500, 2 games out.
Yeah. I kind of believe the Dodgers are going to pull ahead in that race.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if both wild cards come from the National League West. But overall, Washington Nationals are starting to run away in that division. I don't think the Cubs are going to repeat. They'll win the division, but I don't think they'll repeat as world champions. So I'm looking at Washington probably in the National League, American League. Mm-hmm. I got to go with the Houston Astros.
Yep.
Your hometown.
Right. I'm actually in Arlington, Texas right now. I'm not even a fourth mile down the road from the Rangers ballpark. I can see it as I'm talking to you right now.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. The studio that I do my show from overlooks Six Flags, the Rangers ballpark, and the Cowboy Stadium.
Well,
living the dream.
Now I am envious. Yeah.
And I keep waiting.
You're living right, Nate.
I keep waiting for AT&T Stadium, the Cowboy Stadium, to actually fly away. That thing looks like a giant flying saucer. And I would imagine you were just talking about the National League Central. I would imagine Dusty Baker had a hard time watching the World Series last year, considering he used to manage the Cubs.
I'm sure he did. And also, if you remember the Washington-Los Angeles, the NLDS, he kind of managed himself to a loss in that last game.
Right.
Taking out Scherzer after Peterson hit the home run. I don't know why he pulled Scherzer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to that, I don't know how, 5, 6 relievers, and pretty much, like I said, managed himself out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it had to be hard. He won't make the same mistake again this year.
Right.
I don't think.
Given that happened, that doesn't take away from his managerial abilities. He's a great manager. I've liked him for years. So, I mean, that just goes to show you. I mean, managers are human, as is everyone involved in this game. Announcers, players, umpires, everybody.
Well, that's right. And, another thing that people really rely on numbers these days. I'm not a big sabermetrics guy. I'm kind of old school.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Buck Showalter 2 springs ago, and I brought up that the numbers are saying this, and people are predicting that. And he said, well, you know what? Then why do we bother playing the game? Let's just go straight to the World Series, and whoever was picked to win, let them play. Mm-hmm. He made a good point. There's a reason they go out there and play. Yeah. And there's a reason the numbers are not always correct.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it the game it is.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of numbers, I've talked to a lot of people who do play fantasy baseball or in different leagues, and they were telling me that this year there is a tremendous lack of hitters and available players and free agents in these fantasy leagues. And I started looking at the numbers. It's a very odd year, Nate. I don't know if you've noticed, but
It is.
Players that have produced for many years, been solid performers, are really struggling. Todd Frazier comes to mind.
Yep.
He's just one of many.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the explanation is. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
You know what? Now that you mention it, I do have a lot of thought. I do have, like, basically, the main thought I have is, why is it happening, like you just said. Another example, Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers. He has, what, 5 home runs this year?
Yes, he's a perfect example. What is happening?
I have no idea. He usually has at least 15 or 20 by now, and he's just not doing it. So.
Yeah, and I can't see any. There's no pitchers that are dominating. I mentioned 1968 earlier, and that was basically the year of the pitcher.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, Yastrzemski won the batting title with a 301 average.
Yep. Yeah.
But in the National League, Pete Rose at 335 that year.
Yeah.
Matty Alou at 327. So the hitters weren't it wasn't a dearth of hitting like there is this year in the National League. So but there's no overpowering pitchers. Nobody out there on their way to 25 or 30 wins.
Uh-huh.
So I can't figure it.
So if that's the case, it's going to be one kind of boring Cy Young race.
Yes.
If it just keeps up like that.
Yes. I know Dallas Keuchel and Clayton Kershaw are reeling off.
Those guys are
numbers,
just.
But I can't really name anyone else who is.
Yep. Keuchel is what, 9-0 on the year?
Yeah.
He just got finished with the Rangers. I know that, and he just mowed him down.
Yeah, he's having quite a year.
Mm-hmm.
Kershaw pitches today. Kershaw and Strasburg are going today at Dodger Stadium
against Washington, right?
Dodgers.
Yep.
Yeah. And Washington is taking the first 2 games of that series, so it'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, that game is about an hour away. So.
It's getting underway, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And that is at Dodger Stadium. So.
Right.
Might be a silly question, but have you ever been to Dodger Stadium?
I've probably been to Dodger Stadium 5,000 times in my life.
Okay.
I used to go spend the summers in Southern California when I was a youngster, and my dad took me to Dodger Stadium.
Would you say that?
Constantly, and then as I grew older, kept going myself. I played college baseball over there, and whenever I could, I'd go to Dodger games.
So
I've covered a lot of games there.
Okay. So would it be safe to say that that's your favorite ballpark?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And again, I try to be unbiased, but if you haven't been to Dodger Stadium, what a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's over 50 years old, and they keep it up well, but great setting, great scenery. The weather, everything is perfect place.
I've heard it's one of the cleanest ballparks.
It is. It is. Boy, they come in there. They have a lot of crews that come in there and clean. I mean, as soon as the last out in the 9th inning, you see them sweep through.
Yeah. Take notes, Oakland.
Do you have a favorite stadium, Nate?
Do I have a favorite stadium? I'm originally from Michigan, so I would have to say Comerica Park is right up there at the top, followed closely by the one that I'm looking at right now, Globe Life Park.
Yeah, they're both nice.
So.
They're both nice. I've been to Comerica.
Yeah.
I was at the old Tiger Stadium a few times. I like Comerica a lot better.
Okay, yeah. In fact, Globe Life Park kind of stole their designs from Tiger Stadium as far as their right field seats go.
Oh, now that you mention it, I can see that. Yeah. I never even thought about that.
Well, they didn't really steal them, but it's more of a tribute to Tiger Stadium.
Right.
So, yep. And I don't know if I told you this, but I actually am employed by the Texas Rangers. So.
Did not know that. What do you do for the Rangers?
They have a youth ballpark, like about 100 yards north of the home plate side of the Major League ballpark. And what I do is I announce Little League games for them. Like I'm a PA announcer for their Little League games. So.
Oh, that's got to be a blast.
It is. And I thought, I just got this job earlier this spring, and I thought, if nothing else happens from this, at least I'll get to say that I had a job interview in the in that 4-floor structure that's behind the center field wall at Globe Life Park.
Well, that's something, but I have a feeling you're going to be going a long way in the business thing.
Oh, thank you very much. So, but yeah, it's just, and being able to say, I know you've covered a lot of games, but being able to say that you're employed by a major league team, that's something special.
It is special. It really is. And a lot of people, you've seen it, you've been in press boxes. A lot of people have kind of a frown on their face all the time. I always want to say, what are you thinking? You're getting paid to go to a baseball game and either write about it or talk about it.
Yeah.
How can you not be happy?
Very few people in the world get to do that.
That's right. I thank my lucky stars every day.
Yep. And it's just like you never take it for granted because it's hard. It's hard to do.
Yes, it is.
A lot of people think it's just sitting back watching the game. It's like it is that, but there's so much more to it.
Oh yeah, and you have to be precise. You can't make mistakes. It just, like you said, it is hard and it takes a lot of practice.
Mm-hmm. So really, no matter what you do,
right?
Whether it's player, coach, writer, journalist, announcer.
Right. I don't know anybody in any facet of the game who got there because it's easy, or is able to stay at it because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's work. So, we earn our keep.
Yep. Another, he's a great example again, Vin Scully. I mean, he managed to stay around 67 years, and he worked his tail off.
That's right, and it wasn't because he was Vin and everybody liked it. It's because he was good, and he, like you said, he worked his tail off.
Yep. So, I mean, you don't stay in any job for 67 years without working hard.
Gosh, no. Holy cow. You don't stay in many jobs 6 years.
Yeah. And, it helped that he genuinely loved what he did. So.
Yeah, that makes all the difference, too, as you know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just it's a great game.
Right.
It is a great game. So, like you said, your Dodgers are taking on the Washington Nationals in about an hour or so, right there at Dodger Stadium.
That's right.
You said Kershaw was pitching for the Dodgers. Do you know who was pitching for Washington?
Yeah, Steven Strasburg is pitching now for Washington.
Okay. Got it.
This will be the first time those two faced each other.
Really? That's
right. It's MLB Network has it nationally televised, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the radio network as well. I'm off today, so
okay.
I'm not covering the game.
Gotcha. Oh, lucky.
Yeah. A rare day off during the season.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, I have to play some commercials, so I am going to let you go, and then
okay.
We'll talk soon. Hope to have you on again soon.
Absolutely. I thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, Nate. I enjoy your show, and I wish you the best.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll be in touch.
Okay.